13th of June, Rabbi Furst, Mishna Berura.
Okay, good morning again. This is Rabbi Shlomo Furst here. You see the Shamanavshi here in Yerushalayim, Kerem Zoom. This is our second share in the morning. We're in Mishna Berura. Focus to see his Kapayim, Drukas Koinim, Simon Kuf Chav Chet, Mishna Berura, Cotton, Kuf Samek Zayin.
Rabbi, I can't see you. I can hear you, but I can't see you.
Okay, how's this better?
Ah, yeah,
Okay.
now I can see you.
You said you could hear me, huh?
I could hear you before. Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Okay, very
Can
good.
you hear me
All
now?
right. Yeah, very good.
I switched to a different speaker, a microphone.
Okay, it's still a little bit less clear than usual, but it's sufficient. It's okay.
Okay, I have to. There's something wrong with my wiring. I'll have to work on it.
Mhm. They still use wiring.
Oh, I'm just an old-fashioned guy.
All my stuff is wired too. It's funny because I do have a wireless mouse, but I never use it.
I have a wireless keyboard,
Ah,
and that works pretty well, actually.
oh, good.
All right. So we're going to see the Mishna Berura in a moment. I just want to read the Ramah makes the following comment. The reason why that he's explaining the reason why the minig is that they only do Birkas Kohanim in the regions of the Ramah, meaning Central Northern Europe, is that on Yom Tov they are especially happy about the time of Yom Tov, and they're free from concerns and worries of making a living and such. And in contrast, the rest of the year, even on Shabbos, they're still concerned about making a living. So that takes away from the Tov Leiv Mivorach, the concept that a person who's in joyful mood, he can make a bracha, he can give a bracha. So Shabbos not. As the Ramah says, if you want to look there in the where it says Kuf Samek Zayin in the notations for the Mishna Berura, it says that Avol b'Yom Tov mishum az shurim b'simchas Yom Tov tov leiv mivora, that on Yom Tov, since they're still surrounded by the joy of Yom Tov, tov leiv mivora, a joyous heart gives a bracha. So therefore, the Kohanim are in good mood and they can give brachas on Yom Tov. Mashen kain b'shar yamim. In contrast to the rest of the days of the year, afilu b'Shabbosos, even on the Shabbos Hashanah, during Shabbos of the year. That why are they not in a good mood on Shabbos? Shetardim b'hirurim shal mechyasam, that they're occupied, they're preoccupied with the thoughts of making a livelihood, and al bitul malachtin, on the fact that they are suspended from working. And now what's that supposed to mean? That doesn't speak very well about Klal Yisrael. So that's what the Mishna Berura in Kuf Samek Zayin is coming to explain. Mary, you'd like to read that where it says the Mishna Berura in Kuf Samek Zayin?
Okay, so let's see. The al bitul milachtam va'afilu b'yom tov eino sin kapayim ela b'tfilah musaf sheyotzin oz mibeit haKnesset v'yismechu b'simchat yom tov. Let's see. V'al bitul milachtam, because of the not lack of work. Melton, can't think of the right English word.
Yeah, it's a suspension of work.
Oh, suspension of work. Right. Good word. Okay. And even on Yom Tov, ain't no scene. They don't do duchening. Ella b'tfilah musaf. Oh, but only during the musaf service.
Right.
Okay. Sheyotzin az mibeit haKnesset. So that then when they're leaving from the Beit HaKnesset, v'yismechu b'simchat Yom Tov. Oh, and they are joyous in the joy of the Yom Tov. So that's why they do it at Musaf time, huh?
That's Musaf, right. Okay. Take a look there. Take a look at Mishna Berura in Kuf Samech Zayin.
Okay, so it says V'yal bitul milach tam, the suspension of work. Halashon migum gam.
Right. The phraseology is confusing.
Oh, migum gam is confusing.
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
Confusing.
I should remember that. Okay, v'chas v'shalom Yisrael kadoshim itz ta'aru b'shvil bitul melachtam.
So the Chafetz Chaim writes, Has v'sholom that the holy Jews are in distress over the fact that they're not working on Shabbos. That's that you can't say that's pshat. It's not. Jews are not in distress because they're not working on Shabbos. That's not. Shabbos is a wonderful day, a day we look forward to. We're happy to have the day off from work, right? We're not in any way, shape, or form distressed over the fact that we can't to work on Shabbos. So what does it mean then? What does it mean?
V'hanachon shetzarich lomar. So it's correct that they need to say bishvil uvishvil bitul melachtam the ka'ei ta'am zeh al ha'diel she'ein nosin kapayim bishar yamim. Okay, so it's need to say
That what does it mean? Right? That Has v'sholom Yisrael Kadoshim, Has v'sholom, heaven forbid that the holy Jews are distressed on Shabbos because of the suspension of their work on the Yom of on this holy day. But Nachon the proper thing is to say as follows: It's real bittul malachim. It's because of the fact that their work is suspended. B'koi tam zeh al had la'el, and that reason is going on what we said previously. That ain't notion kapayim b'shar yomim, that you're not duchening on the rest of the days because of bittul malachim, right? The tam zeh al had la'el, that ain't notion kapayim b'shar yomim, right? That the fact that they don't bench Birkas Hamazon on weekdays, on regular weekdays, is because of the fact we don't want them to lose out from their working time. So we're not going to distress them unduly and have them bench during the weekdays because we want them to have as much free time to earn their living, and that we don't want that interfering. The bench Birkas Hamazon shouldn't lengthen the time that they spend in shul and times of the prayers, that it would interfere with their work schedules. That's what it's going with. Okay.
So I guess they were very concerned about earning a living.
Yeah, well, I mean, sometimes you have to catch a bus, you have to, it's like a few extra moments, then you could maybe lose a half a day's work. You missed the train, you missed the bus, the wagon going to town.
Yeah, it is interesting. But the right way to say this. mean, the Chafetz Chaim doesn't seem to be concerned. Although this day, Jews still lived in certain areas of town, ghettos.
Well, yeah, I mean,
They don't seem to be concerned about the Jewish way of life, the effect on, or how it's affected by the non-Jews. He doesn't seem to be that concerned about that.
right. Well, it really depended where you were living. There, the basic demarcation in Europe, primarily we're talking about previous to World War One. Once World War One came along, that really disrupted a lot of Jewish life throughout all of Europe. Right. So there were, even if there weren't ghettos, but to a large degree, almost exclusively, except in places like perhaps Germany and England, perhaps maybe France a bit, maybe Italy a bit also, the Jews were really segregated, even if they didn't live in specific ghettos, but they really weren't allowed to engage in works and professions like the rest of the Goyim were. They had to fend for themselves amongst themselves, basically. After World War One came along, things changed. Like everything broke down. There was some order to the way of life that they maintained, but it really broke down with the onset of World War One and continued on until everything was destroyed in World War II. So Jews had a very difficult time in making a living. They could only engage in very menial and meager professions. And so it was it meant a lot to them to try and make the money that they could to support their families. That's one reason I saw written that why the Jews were so excited about communism, because they felt that not only the concept that everyone would be equal and maybe they wouldn't be persecuted so much, but they felt that they would have a chance of being on equal status as a worker with the rest of the Goyim. So a lot of the Jews flocked to that because of their economic situation, not so much that they philosophically they were enthralled with it, but because it offered them a social economic means of bettering themselves. But
I don't know if that really worked out for them.
No, it didn't work out for them at all. It was that in the exact opposite.
Right, especially under Stalin. Right. Okay. Okay, continuing. V'chein paginhu b'darchei Moshe shekatav tam lefi b'chirchurin v'chulei.
It's also broken up in the Darkei Moshe, so that writes, the reason is, if you should in the Hirhurim, they're preoccupied with their thoughts of making a living. There ain't no syncopine b'Shabbos, and why don't they bench because of Kohanim on Shabbos and Yemusachol and during the weekday as well? Tasabatam, he wrote the reason because Bitul Malacha, because of the Bitul Malacha.
Maybe if they did Duchening, it would get their minds off of the Bitul Malacha. I don't know.
Yeah, good point.
But I guess since the Kohanim were supposed to be in a high state of joy when they do Duchening, it's a problem.
Right.
Okay.
Okay, let's continue on. Let's see. That will be, let's go back to the Mechaber Mem Hey.
Okay, Mem Hey. It says, Elu Tevot HaKohanim Hovchin Bahem L'darom u'letzafon. Yivarechecha v'yishmerecha. Elecha v'yichunecha. Elecha lecha shalom. What's Elu Tevot?
So these are the words,
Are the words. Oh, okay.
right? When are the Kohanim supposed to turn this way and that way, backwards and forwards? At what point in the brachas? So when they come to these words, is that how you do it, man?
Yes, it's any word that ends with cha, you. Maybe that's the reason why, because since they're blessing everyone, they have to make sure that well, they're not blessing, but through they're the conduit through the blessing.
Very good.
That
That's
all
good.
the
That's good.
congregants sort of get the countenance of Hashem. So
Everyone should be covered.
by turning, to through the whole congregation, maybe that's why that's done.
Very good. That's good. I like that. Okay. Let's see the okay, no. Let's continue on in the Mermah now.
Okay, so Haggah, b'nohagim shema'arichin b'nigun elu tevot, kikol achat me bracha bifnei atzma ve'omrim ribon kemo shemifarash kesiman kuflamed. That's interesting, because in Israel we don't really sing at all,
Right.
except sometimes on Yontif they do it.
Right.
They have like a conference beforehand. Are we going to sing or not sing? I think on Shavuos we sang. So,
yeah. Who makes the final decision?
it's a good. It's
The
it's
biggest
a good.
contributor.
It's a good question. If the main Kohen starts singing, everyone follows along.
Okay, that's good.
Hmm.
All right. Let's see. There are more contingent on a bit also.
Oh, okay. Let's see. So, uvisha'a shemarichin b'nigun hatevot shebesof hapsukim dehainu v'yishmerecha v'yichunecha and shalom. V'hamakre lo yomar ribon v'chulei. Asur lihishtamesh the Kohen afilu bizman hazeh dehave kmo el behekdesh im lo machal akach. Okay.
What does this mean?
But the nigun is at the end of the pasuk, the pasukim, and
Yeah.
then he gives the words where they sing it.
Right. Good. Okay. Fine.
Not sure Hamakre lo yomar ribon. I'm not sure.
The Makron who's calling out the words to the Kohanim, you shouldn't say those words.
Oh, that's interesting. Okay, well, certainly he doesn't sing.
No. Okay. So it's 10:30. Okay, we'll have to stop. We'll continue. We'll go review this tomorrow, Mitzvah Shem.
Okay, very good.
Everyone have a good day, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Okay, be well.
Okay, be well, everybody.